Alright YouTube, so for this vlog I'll be doing another movie pitch sorta type vlog. I'll be talking about a live action Pokemon movie pitch I have, which I'm really excited to dive into, as well as give my opinions on this pre-existing and potential movie, so let's dive in. So without question, it's about Mr. Darkrai, one of the coolest legendary Pokemon, and to be honest, one of the few legendary Pokemon I really like. I mean, I like most legendary Pokemon, but not many of them I should say, really stand out for me, except Mew, Darkrai, probably a few others that I'm blanking on at the moment, like Mewtwo, which is embarrassing. I named Mew but not Mewtwo, but as you guys know, Mewtwo was the sort of villain of the Detective Pikachu movie, which was, as far as I know, an original story and wasn't really based on too much Pokemon media literature, which is probably why it didn't do incredibly well review-wise. But as you know, 6 years later, no Detective Pikachu 2, no other live-action Pokemon movies. So Rise of Beach, I'm hoping to change that with this movie pitch where I talk about the Darkrai movie, which is called the Rise of Darkrai. It's an animated movie. I believe it came out in 2011. I gotta fact check myself on that real quick. Now, if you haven't seen these movies, I have to say two things. One, watch it. Two, there will be spoilers for it, because although I haven't seen it in a while, the main ending and sort of all the plot twists are what really make me think this would be a great live action movie, because, you know, as you know, the How to Train Your Dragon movie has become, like, apparently the most successful, or at least the highest grossing live action adaptation of a pre-existing animated movie, which Disney did a lot of, but now DreamWorks has stolen the crown from them. Which How to Train Your Dragon How to Train Your Dragon live action was a great movie, so gave me the idea that, you know, I want to see a franchise I love even more than How to Train Your Dragon, which is Pokemon, adapt one of its best live action, or my bad, one of its best movies into a live action movie, which there's nothing about the Rise of Darkrai I would want to change, although I am making a bit of a bold statement seeing as I haven't seen it in a while. But to give a little bit of a spoiler, the village imagines Darkrai as sort of like this guy, Nosferatu, a demonic pure evil villain that scares everyone and is pure evil, but you know, he's nothing like Nosferatu. He's more like Darth Vader, a misunderstood, super cool, dark villain, but not villain, villain, but, you know, a hero at heart, and sort of a fallen hero who's often shunned and viewed in a poor light, which admittedly Darkrai to Darth Vader may be apples to oranges, but Darkrai's arc is incredible in Rise of Darkrai, where he, you know, of course Dialga and Palkia, the two legendary Pokemon that represent Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the video games, are, you know, clashing against each other, which would be incredible to see on a big screen, especially an IMAX or Dolby Cinema. And Darkrai makes the noble sacrifice, which, remember, as I said, the village hates Darkrai. He's done nothing wrong, but they ostracize and shun him, but he ends up saving the village and saving tons of lives, sacrificing his own to save people that, like, you know, to do the right thing, and that people that didn't like or respect him. But I think a lot of the main characters from the Pokemon anime that are in this movie later realize the truth about Darkrai, but of course believe the negative annotations of him. But I think this would just be an incredible movie to bring to the big screen, and I drew this just to reiterate a version of Darkrai, which I don't draw Darkrai very often because admittedly he kind of fell out of my mind for a little bit, but once I was thinking about live action Pokemon movies that would be great adapted to the big screen, this was the first one that came to my mind. So yeah, overall I would make the movie pitch to make this movie exactly like it is in animated, but, or almost exactly at least, keep all the big core values and core importance and all the amazing things that made this movie amazing, and I'm running out of things to say, but point is make a live action Rise of Darkrai movie as the next Pokemon movie, or at least just make another live action, you know, Pokemon movie based on one of the best episodes of the anime, which admittedly I'm very behind on. I have watched it. I watched it as a kid. I went back and watched it when I was younger, and I need to watch more of it, so going in circles now. So just to reiterate, these are super cool Funko Pops of Darth Vader and Nosferatu, so going back to what I said, they view him as this, but he's more like this. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more soon. Goodbye.